Anyways, guys, I'm doing this a little bit earlier, but, Halloween calls. I got some other stuff going on, too. So that's why this is going to be a little bit early in terms of the recording. But still, big time week 9 to get through. So last week of the first half of the regular season, absolutely surreal. We're already here. We're going to have some fun games to get through. That's all I'll say. And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Fun NFL. Please like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the NFL Week 9 Sunday preview and predictions, as we'll get through every single game that'll be going on this Sunday. If I'm not mistaken, there's 12, which is an uptick from last week. We're only at 11. Latest week we'll see until one of the last weeks of the regular season. But with that said, there has been a lot of crazy things that happened in the first half. You can go again watch all the recaps. That'll get you through all that if you really do need to do that. But I'll be going through every single game that'll be going on this Sunday. I'll give you guys my predictions, my thoughts, and everything you also need to know for it. On top of that, first time this season, we will be going through standing context, which I don't really usually get to. Or earlier in the season, I usually do. But I think this is how we're going to do it. And then by Thanksgiving, around there, we'll start looking at playoff pictures and stuff like that. I think Thanksgiving's probably the appropriate week. But with that said, first game we'll be talking about today is the Atlanta Falcons and New England Patriots. One of the more interesting matchups here on Sunday. Again, we look at the format for this week's schedule. I will not forget, but when we get to the end of this, I will talk about again who's on a bye. But there's 8 games in the early window. CBS has 5 of them. Then there's 3 games in the late window. One's definitely a dandy, and then we also have the Sunday nighter as well. With that said, though, for the Falcons coming in this game, like I said, it was an interesting game. This is an interesting game. They come in at 3-4. Why are you doing this? I think it's important to know if Michael Penis is playing. Do we know if he's playing? Any idea? I have no idea if he's gonna play, which kind of sucks. I can't give you guys the prediction in a couple days, so I can't really tell you for sure if he's playing. But we saw what happened when he didn't play last week, as the Falcons were looking to bounce back after they had a frustrating loss in Week 7 against the Niners. Came back home to play the Dolphins where they were undefeated so far this season. They absolutely crapped the bed, as 2 through 4 touchdowns on them, and they lost 34-10. And now they had to Patriots place, where we all know it might have been 8 years ago, but guys, 28-3. It happened. I don't know what to tell you guys. But Patriots host them for the first time since 2017 here. It's been 8 years. That was fresh off of the 28-3 stuff. But Patriots coming this one at 6-2. This is the best Patriots team we have seen since Tom Brady booked out of there. This is a very similar Patriots squad to the one that beat the Falcons, which really ticks me off, but you could argue in some ways that is again, they're not obviously as good as the 2018, 2017 Patriots, but they're not too far off. Considering how well Drake May is playing, he is obviously one of the MVP favorites right now. Patriots on a 5-game winning streak. They are 1 away from getting 1 away. So again, think they're 2 games away from again their longest win streak since they had, back in 2019. Again, 2021 was the year they won 7 straight. But the Patriots are looking really freaking good. They've had a paper soft schedule at this point. It's probably the reason they've been able to dip. They did win in Buffalo. Not really talking the Patriots that much. Their offense played Drake May played great last week as they blew out the Browns at home, despite giving up the 5 sacks, which is just something to mention. But anyways, I've already talked about this game enough. The game will be at 1 o'clock on CBS, NMO Plus, and Paramount Plus, with the ways you guys can stream this game. Weather for this game, 53 degrees, a little bit of wind. You're going to see mostly sunny. Again, this isn't the most accurate weather, but it's generally fine. Again, Patriots are leading the AFC East by a half game, considering the Bills had their bye week already. Falcons are treading water in the NFC South. But with that said, we look at the announcers for this game. Again, if we can find them, that would be nice. Who's announcing this game? I can't miss that. That'll be a lot of loss of. Oh, there we go. Andrew Catalon, Charles Davis, Jason McCourty, AJ Ross. So again, CBS is what are we going to say, their 3rd team. We have 5 games in the early window. It's going to be in green here, so you can see it's about their 3rd game if I had to guess on the slate. For the Falcons, though, their starting lineup, Michael Penix, like I said, no idea if he's playing. Probably, again, he should play because I think they do need him to win. But again, Kirk Cousins will start again if he can't. Bijan's healthy. Tyler Alligator's questionable, as well as Drake London and Casey Washington. Drake London's definitely a little bit more up in the air than Tyler Alligator, but I would probably say they try to get both of them out there. Kyle Pitts is definitely a little bit of an issue, but I think he did practice today, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he should be okay. Jake Matthews, that's definitely concerning, but he hasn't missed a game in 10 years, so he should be fine. Zach Harrison, that's definitely another thing that's, I'm not going to say concerning, because, all these are, but I think this is definitely one of the ones we're getting a little bit more doubtful. Leonard Floyd should play. Jalen Walker, I don't know too much on just yet. Same thing with Jesse Bates. Billy Bowman, still not really looking 100%, which is probably a reason he won't be on the field, considering he hasn't played the past couple weeks. That's all I got for the Falcons, though. Parker Romo is obviously still their kicker. For the Patriots, though, they're a little bit more certain for their roster. Again, Ramon Stevenson's the only questionable guy, but Trayvon Henderson's going to get a decent amount of carries anyway. Other than that, though, the rest of this offense is completely healthy. I'd literally see Keishawn Boutte have another big week. Defensively, I mean, they obviously had 2 big trades. I should have probably took that in the power rankings, but Keon White is no longer on this team. He got traded to the Steelers, if I'm not mistaken. And Kyle Duggar also is gone. They really want to make way for, I don't know why, but they want Jalen Hawkins playing on the field. So, I mean, they're going to do their thing. But Craig Woodson, obviously, the rookie, has been very, very good so far. And obviously, the rest of the secondary is very, very good, too. Andy Borgels, Bryce Behringer at kicker and punter, and that's really all I got there. This has already been long enough for you guys. Looking at how this game is going to be, again, I don't think it'll be a great game, but I have to put this in entertaining. I will be looking out for this game. I'm being completely honest with you guys, just because of, again, it is one of those games, again, just a matchup that it's really hard to ignore it. I mean, guys, I understand they haven't played since 2021. That was 25-0 stinker. But, guys, like, you can't tell me this is like one of those matchups that, again, you just know. You know what it is. That's what I'll say there. But anyway, not that game. There we go. This, again, not locked here, but this is a game that I could very easily see the Falcons losing by 50 or being down 28-3. But I want to make this a crazy prediction because, again, this is a game that deserves that. I'm going to say the Falcons are up 28-3. Again, at the end of the third quarter, Patriots come back to win 34-28 in OT. That's my prediction there. Again, I still picked the Patriots. I still picked them. Again, the prediction might be wrong, but at least I got the pick. At least I picked the favorite there, I guess. That's all I got for you guys here. Let's get to a game that has a little bit more sanity to it. I probably should have used reverse psychology for the last game because I guess yeah, because I did forget to tell you guys who's on a bye this week. Teams are on a bye this week. I probably should make a designation for this. I think that's what we're gonna do. No, not that. There we go. Come on. Let's make this work. Buys. And then let's make this, what do we want to do? Blue. Yeah. All right. Teams on a bye this week. We have the no, we're going to make this black cuz that fits. It looks absolutely terrible, but that's the point of it. Bucks, they're 6-2 if you didn't know. They're atop the NFC South. The Eagles are also atop their division. They're 6-2. The Browns and Jets, those are the other 2 teams. They're obviously not looking great, so I don't really need to explain that one. But anyway, back to the actual game. The team that lost the Jets last week, that's being the Bengals. They'll have another home game this week as they host the Bears in what is not a fun matchup for them. As I just said, they did lose to the Jets. That's about as embarrassing as a loss as it does get. But then again, there's definitely worse things. But now they fall to 3-5. They will be doing things, and maybe not. I don't know. They'll be probably trying to figure some things out. But again, Joe Flacco is questionable for this game, if I'm not mistaken. I think he should play, but it really doesn't matter considering how bad their defense has played the past 2 weeks. As they even though they only get 31 Aaron Rodgers, you don't want to get 31 Aaron Rodgers ever. But they got 39 last week to the Jets. Only one of 2 teams, or 3 teams, I think, since 2000 give up over 500 yards to them. This Bengals defense has been even worse than last year, arguably, and they do not look good whatsoever. Bears, again, just absolutely killer loss last week. Bears also had a killer loss. They came in a 4-game winning streak, again, to Baltimore and played like absolute crap as their offense wasn't able to do much of anything. Could not establish the run. Defensively, they were really sluggish and kind of gave way too many explosive plays despite not being too brutal against the run. But as a result, they ended up losing that game. Some bad calls by Ben Johnson, some horrible clock management. Ended up really putting them out of reach in that game as they ended up losing by 2 touchdowns. But this is a very good bounce back game for them. But anyways, the Bears have not been here in 8 years. Don't want to tell you what happened in that one, but they did come. Oh my goodness. They played the Bengals back in 2021 and they actually upset them 20-17 when I wouldn't say it was an upset. It was an even game. It was when the Bengals were on the up and up and the Bears were, I guess, sort of just kind of treading water with Andy Dalton. This game will be 1 o'clock on CBS, though. NFL Plus, Paramount Plus, with the ways you guys can stream this game. Standings-wise, you can see that the Bengals are still, I think, second place in their division, which is just absolutely ridiculous. The Bears are, I think, they're around somewhere. They're not the worst team in their division, definitively, by any means. Weather for this game, 51 degrees. It's supposed to rain a little bit. Womp womp, a little bit of wind won't hurt you either. Spirit is Adam Archuleta and Deacon Gabala. Not too surprising, they'll be announcing this game, as it is the second to least interesting, again, high-profile game, or not high-profile, profiled game, which makes sense. It's probably the 4th or the 5th games in terms of that. But anyway, for the Bears, Caleb Williams is healthy. DeAndre Swift, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, and Ahmed Kia, and Luther Burns. So basically, all their skill positions and Cole Kmet are all questionable. I'm going to say all of them play. Colston Loveland probably is the one guy who could probably start over against Cole Kmet, who doesn't look great right now in terms of the injuries. But I would be shocked if more than 3 of these guys are out. O-line's healthy. Kyle Monanga is going to get more carries this week. Guarantee you that, though. Defensively, they are healthy, which is good to see. Dominic Robinson's doubtful, but he's bad anyway, so who really cares? Carlos Santos, a kicker. Torrey Taylor, punter. But if I'm not mistaken, Dominic Robinson, he's had a better start to the season than maybe the past couple of years. But that's all I got for the Bears, though. For the Bengals, who again, oh goodness, they have quarterback troubles right now with Joe Flacco being questionable. Again, there's no way he doesn't play, right? Okay, he was spotted on the field. I mean, I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Ben Baby is a name for that, too. Bro, just go ask him who's going to play. But Jake Browning, you don't want to see him on the field. Chase Brown, Samaje Perine in the backfield. Offensively, they're other than that. Again, Don Reiser's a depth guy, but they're healthy. Defensively, Trey Anderson's questionable. I don't think he'll play this game, honestly. Again, they should probably trade him. Again, the injury he had again against the Jets with the hip, I don't think he'll get traded because of that. Logan Wilson's also questionable. Orrin Burks would start if he can't go. Marco Wilson, again, I don't even know. Again, isn't he a freaking cornerback? They honestly probably should play him there because the freaking secondary is so bad. It would, again, really wouldn't make a difference. Evan McPherson, Ryan Raquel, kicker and punter. This game for me is going to go in decent. I don't know. There should be points, which is better than nothing. That's what I'll say there. It's just not going to be a great game, though. I think I don't think this is as forcing as the Ravens and Dolphins game, because the Ravens and Dolphins game is definitely going to be that was a little bit of a stretch for me. But anyway, for who wins this game, I'm going to go with the Bears by 20. What are we going to say? 40? No, that's a lot of points. 35-15. That's my final score prediction. I think that's 35-18. We're going to say that. 35-18 for this game. Now we'll get to a game that I don't even know. Is this even a game? All right, guys, this is take 2 of this game because, my computer crashed. So we're gonna just change a couple things up so this doesn't, again, happen again. But, again, this game is not great. I kind of already alluded to a little bit ago. As the Chargers coming off their mini bye to Nashville, Tennessee for a very easy game. I guess you could just say it's another bye week. As they take on the Titans, probably the easiest road game they'll have all year. As, again, they have coming off of a big-time blowout win over the Vikings, who, again, did not have a quarterback in Carson Wentz with no left shoulder and all. As, again, their offense looked really solid in that game. Ladd McConkey had a big game. Kamani Valdez had his career game as well, as he looks to be the starting running back for the at least decent future, a little bit into the future until Hampton gets back or something like that. But they're 5-3, obviously. They haven't really been great since week 3, so that's not great. But again, they had a big win last week, so that's what you'll say there. Titans are absolutely trash. I don't really need to go too deep into it. Offensively, I guess Cam Ward kind of stat pad in the fourth quarter. They had a couple decent drives to begin the game, but without that defense played throughout, the worst defensive performance of the year. I understand they get 41 to the Colts in week 3. Again, I was just very not moved by that performance. But anyway, Chargers actually played a really good game here back in 2022. They didn't win it, but it was pretty good. It was in week 2. Titans, again, I was right before, again, the wheels fell off, as they won that one 27-24 in OT. Again, they played back in 2019 as well. There's just been some good games between these teams here, again, in recent history. This game, though, will be at 1 o'clock on CBS, and Paramount Plus with the ways you guys can stream this game. Again, looking at the standings, the Chargers are really still in the race. Again, it's kind of hard to think about that, but again, that's kind of where it is. Titans obviously are doing their own thing. Whether we get against 53 degrees, 7-mile-per-hour winds, mostly partly sunny, really not that bad at all. Other than that, though, announcing this game, again, as you can see right here, we do have Tom McCarthy, Ross Tucker, and Amanda Balionis. So CBS is one of their lower teams because, again, when you can look at this map, which we'll be using for Fox, it's in orange, so not a ton of the country setting this game, and obviously against SoCal being the primary out of these two. Titans starting lineup: Cam Ward, a quarterback. Calvin Ridley's questionable. Again, I looked at it. I think he doesn't even have 300 receiving yards yet this year. Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, I guess, will be running the ball. Chig Okonkwo is also questionable. Jeffrey Simmons, though, Arden Key are both questionable, as well as Xavier Woods, so 3 definite starters there. If I haven't already if you have not already heard, Roger McCreary, their starting nickelback for the past couple years, got traded to the Rams, so Samuel Womack will be starting. Jalen Armour-Davis is also starting. This is just not really good right now, guys. And then Joey Sly and Johnny Hecker are still on this team, if you wanted to know. I think we swapped things up there. For the Chargers, though, Ladd McConkey is questionable. Hassan Haskins is questionable. I don't even know what else is going on. Mekhi Becton, Jamari Sallier. So hopefully I don't have to worry about that. Other than that, though, Cam Hart's questionable. Tariq Still is doubtful. Jasir Taylor is also there. Dick the kicker, J.K. Scott are also around. So other than that, they're pretty much good to go. For this game, though, if I had to put it anywhere, it's going to be boring, guys. I don't know what to tell you. This is just not a game that I'm looking at. And I'm going to be very, very stimulating and excited to watch. There's really another way to put it. But anyway, for this game, who do I have winning? Obviously, I'm picking the Chargers. I don't really see this game really being that good. I don't know. Chargers 23-6. Again, it's going to be a boring game. It's definitely not one I recommend, again, spending too much time on watching. But that's what I got there. Now let's get to a game that, I guess could be similar to this one. And our next game, again, last game for regional game for CBS in the early window, we have the Niners and Giants going at it. Again, a couple weeks ago before, Cam Scatterbo got injured, this game would have looked a lot better. But again, I think the Giants record is definitely deflated right here. But still, at the same time, the Niners come in here at 5-3. You could argue their record's inflated after a pretty tough loss on the road in Houston, as their offense really couldn't get much going at all, and their defense kind of got lit up as they ended up losing that game by 11 points. Probably should have been a lot more though. And now they look to bounce back here at MetLife for their second straight road game as they make their tour across the the country. This game will definitely be a lot more different, but at the same time, it's definitely not a game they can overlook, because if they do, that's probably not going to be good. But again, last week was just not really the greatest performance for them as they look to, get back atop the NFC West. Giants, again, like I said, it's not really looking too good for them. They've now lost 3 straight, I think. No, that's not true. Something like that. They've had struggle putting consistent games together. Again, we all know about that game against the Eagles a couple weeks ago. But again, considering they blew a 19-0 lead in the fourth quarter against the Broncos, and then they lose Cam Scatterbo for the year in devastating fashion. Again, it's not really hard to see why they're now 2-6. As again, Jackson Dart has looked great for them, but again, that's really all they're going to want to see out of him probably the rest of the year. But again, with all those injuries, and they're playing a lot of injuries, you could argue this is an injury ball. But again, both these teams don't play here very often against each other. I honestly don't remember. I think it was 2020 the last time the Niners came here. It was like 36-9 or something like that, which again is a pretty nice score. But other than that, I mean, guys, that's what I got for you guys in this one. It'll be at 1 o'clock on CBS, as I've mentioned. NFL Plus and Paramount Plus are the ways you guys can stream this game. Like I said, the Niners are looking to get back atop the division. Again, there is definitely a reality where, again, the Giants can be tied with the Commanders after this week in the division if they're able to pull off this upset. Weather for this game, you get 57 degrees, mostly cloudy, pretty typical November weather. Yeah, I forgot. It's going to be November by the time this game kicks. Other than that, though, you look at the announcers for this game. I'll move over to Fox's schedule. They have a pretty crowded slate, but again, only 3 games in the early window, so pretty, not crowded, but pretty, again, light in that sense. Oh, no, we're still on CBS. I'm a brick. My bad. But anyway, you can see we have... There we go. Kevin Harlan, Trent Creed, and Melanie Collins. So this game is going to definitely amount to something there. It's going to be in blue, and again, there's actually a decent amount of country getting this game, despite it definitely not being the national game, as that is definitely getting I wouldn't say a majority, but again, a decent amount of the good land there, even though, again, like the populated areas have this game too. And I guess technically the Chargers game too. But anyway, Niners starting lineup, Brock Purdy still questionable. Like, do we have any sort of idea? Like, I honestly think they should just roll with Mac Jones, but that's just me. We'll see. CMC's back there, but he came off the worst game, definitely of his season. Ricky Pearsall is questionable, as well as Jake Brendel at center. Bryce Huff, that would be a big loss. He's questionable, as well as Jordan Elliott. Alvin Collins probably won't play. Eugene Montrose is questionable, also probably won't play. This dude got injured. I don't know. We'll see. D. Winters is also questionable. Upton Stout, their nickelbacker, that was a pretty rough injury, but I think, again, at the end of the day, Charles Lucas will get out there just as much as him, so I don't really see too much going on there. I'm joking there again. Upton Stout, again, he definitely doesn't play a lot. And Muir Thomas Morstead round things out there as well for the Niners. Giants time. Bo Collins is starting. I mean, I don't even know what to tell you guys. This is rough. Daniel Bellinger plays a lot. He's questionable. Same with Christian Manners. Again, Eric Gray kind of forgot was on this team. Jermaine Illuminor is questionable. Jackson, again, you got your work cut out for you in this game. This team's actually cooked. 3 of their stars in the secondary are injured. Not only those guys, but the only guys that are actually veterans. Drew Phillips has done, and Tyler Newman are both second-year guys, but neither one of them have had their greatest starts this season, even though Tyler Newman's been pretty good. Front seven's healthy, though, so do something about that. Graham Gano, Jamie Gillen, a kicker and punter. And that's all I got for you guys there for the Giants. For this game overall, I'm going to put it in entertaining. I think this will be a pretty good game, pretty competitive. Definitely not the worst game you'll see all week. Definitely think I'm pushing the envelope on this a little bit, considering where the Giants and the Niners are in terms of their injuries. But that's what makes this game a little bit more competitive than a lot of people would want to admit. For who actually wins this game, I'm still going to go with the Niners, but I think it'll be a very close game, and I think it'll come down to the wire. I'm going to say the Niners, Eden Pierre hits a game-winning kick, and they win it 24-22 right at the buzzer. That's all I got for you guys there. Now let's get to a game that is also very underrated. All right, moving over to Fox's regional window games here in the early window. There we go. We have the Broncos and Texans to start it off. I did say this. I think this should probably be the national game in this window for Fox, but again, they don't want to go with that for whatever reason, as they will stick with the 6-win and 5 straight Broncos as they look to continue their terror stretch here, as they are coming off a massive win against the Cowboys in front of the whole country, winning by 20, putting up 44 points on them. Despite a couple injury concerns, they're looking pretty darn good right now. Again, their offense coming off their best game of the season. Heading to Houston, face off the best defense in the entire NFL, who just really, again, stymied that Niners offense, as well as the fact that their offense had a very good game in terms of yardage and EPA per play. But how much does that really matter when you only score 26 points? I don't really know. But still, Texans have been really inconsistent, if not putrid at offense at points this year. Their defense overall has been absolutely phenomenal. That is what they'll carry them in this game. This should be a very interesting game. On top of that, they put in a pretty crucial one 2 years ago. That's when Russ was still around. He actually threw a crazy touchdown to Cortland Sutton that game. As the Texans ended up holding on and win that one 22-17. I really hope we see a similar game because I remember Derek Stingley had a crazy one. That was one of those better games of that season. But this one will be at 1 o'clock on Fox, and it won't be like later in the season. I think you can stream it on Fox 1 as well as NFL Plus if you do in fact have those subscriptions. No, that's not there. Whatever. Standings. Broncos are still atop the division. If I'm not mistaken, if they lose this game, they'll still be atop the division. I think no, they probably won't be because they lost to the whatever. They're 4-0 at home. They're looking good. On the other side for the Texans, they're not looking great in their division. I mean, there's really no way they win it. I'm be honest, guys. This is probably the last year they'll win the division. Again, that defending championship streak is probably not going to happen. But who really knows? They've obviously going to want to be better here this week though. Map wise, you can see it's in blue. It's a good amount of country. I mean, again, if you're a fan of one of these teams, you're probably in this area. If you're not, well, again, screw you or get a Sunday ticket or whatever the scam is. But anyway, for the Broncos, you can see Marvin Mims is questionable. I know Pat Bryant played a lot last week anyway, so cool. Nate Atkins is questionable. Bo Nix is a quarterback though. Dobbins, RJ Harvey in the backfield. Other than that, though, I mean, guys, Alex Forsythe, their backup center, is questionable. They're pretty much good on offense. Defensively, Pat Surtain, that's a big one. He's doubtful. I think he should go on IR. Ian, just don't mess with it, but that's just me. Chris Abrams-Drain is not the worst backup cornerback, but it's just not the really greatest thing. They really don't have a second boundary corner right now. Jahad Barron, I honestly don't. Again, he's definitely struggled so far this year. Jaquan McMillan has been better, but he hasn't been as good again as we saw him in 2023. Yeah, Jahad Barron, it kind of sucks that he's just not been good this year. Ryan Moss has been really good though. Julian Fungerbrand, Jones are all there. All right, I'll stop yapping about the Broncos secondary and move over to the Texans. What are we doing? Why are we doing that? But anyway, Dalton Schultz is questionable. Tight end Braxton Berrios is also questionable. Woody Marks questionable. But thank God their top 5 receivers are healthy. That's the first time in a while for that. Any update on Tank Dell if this doesn't crash? No, we have no idea. No idea if he's healthy. Other than that, though, Nico Autry's questionable, but they're the same old defense, guys. Kyler Fairbairn, Tommy Townsend, a kicker and punter. Derek Stingley and Pat Stan are the best 2 cornerbacks in football, though. That's my proclamation there. Again, Christian Gonzalez, Glazers, go ahead and do all that if you want to. But for me, this is a must-watch game. This is one of the better games of the Sunday. I understand that there's a good chance this game will be a lot more defensive than you'll like, but these will be fun defenses to watch, and I think that the offenses will break through at one point, and just, again, anticipation of that will be something, again, to behold, honestly. So I see this game being one of the better games of the weekend. I'm going to say this is definitely a must-watch. But for who actually wins this game, I'm actually going to go with the Broncos. I see them getting to 7-2 with this game. I like the Texans defense a lot, but I just don't see that offense pulling this one through. I see it being a low-scoring one, going right down to the wire. I see maybe a CJ Stroud shenanigan turnover or something ending this one. I'm going to say the Broncos win it one narrowly, 17-10. Now let's get to another game that, again, has really nothing. We really know what's going on in it. All right, next up is a game that a lot of people have very strong opinions on and not being close, but hopefully the Panthers don't have the same thing happen that they had happen last week, as they will be heading to Green Bay after a humiliating loss to the Bills last week to their backup quarterback, Andy Dalton, as they lost 40-9 at a point where they were down 40-3 going to the fourth quarter. That was an absolute drubbing. They got 250 yards of rushing, something ridiculous like that. Josh Allen didn't even have to do anything as they just absolutely annihilated them. It took this just straight up souls out of the Panthers as they had their 3-game winning streak just absolutely snatched. But even then, we look at it, it was probably happening considering how they played against the Jets. But nonetheless, they will be looking to get a massive upset here in Green Bay with Bryce Young back on the slate, as he has not played in 6 quarters. Again, for the Packers, they are coming in on a 3-game winning streak. They're 5-1-1 overall. They're coming off their best overall offensive performance of the year, putting up 35 points and having a huge fourth quarter in that game. They're the lone one-loss team in the NFC. They have not lost. They have not. Again, they're undefeated at home. I think that's the best way to put it. They haven't lost or tied a game at home. I think that's the best. That's the best way I can put it. They're looking really, really good. But at the same time, this is not a Panthers team you're going to want to mess with, despite them getting blown out last week by Buffalo and the fact that Packers I think have won all their home games by at least 2 scores. This game though will be 1 o'clock on Fox. You can stream it on Fox 1 as well as NFL Plus. This reminds me a lot of that Rams and Packers game back in Week 9 of 2023 when Jordan Love was still awful, and they won that one 20-3 because the Rams had Brett Rippon in. But thankfully, the Panthers have their starting quarterback, so I mean, I guess that's the case. The Panthers have not played here since 2020. In that game, the Packers won that one 24-16. That was in the midst of Aaron Rodgers, or in the midst, something. I don't know how the convention of that works in English. But 24-16 was the final. That was, again, in the midst of Aaron Rodgers, something like that. Aaron Rodgers MVP season, his first of back-to-backs, yeah. Weather, 40 degrees, a lot of wind, and cloudy. Not, again, ideal, I guess, ish. Not really weather for Green Bay at this point in the year. We look at who's winning the division. Packers are not way up top, but they're definitely up top in that division. And then the Panthers are, I guess, in the hunt. Who really knows? I don't know when they're playing the Bucks. That'll be a fun game when they do, though. Again, we look at the map and who's announcing this game. It's gonna be Adam, me, Greg Olson, and I don't even know who that's the sideline reporter. That's probably the one downside of not doing this. I don't know what the sideline reporter is, but I guess we'll just have to figure out when we watch it. It's gonna be in green though, as you can see. It's a very scattered amount of the country, but again, it's still a pretty decent amount getting it at the end of the day, considering it's a pretty crowded. Not pretty light early window. Panthers, though, Bryce Young is healthy. He's ready to go. Andy Dalton in the back is questionable. Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard in the backfield. Xavier Lee gets questionable. Receiver Jalen Coker and Jimmy Horn are also there. Outside of that, though, Damian Lewis, Cade Mays, Taylor Moton are all questionable. Jake Saran, I guess, will start at right guard. It's just not really looking too good for this offensive line. Defensively, Trevin Wallace is questionable, as well as Nick Scott. The rest of this defense is pretty much good to go. Princely Newman's also questionable, I guess. And Ryan Fitzgerald, Sam Martin are the kicker and punter. For the Packers now, their injuries on offense go as Malik Willis, who's questionable at backup. Josh Jacobs should play. Tavian Wicks is questionable, as well as Christian Watson. Christian Watson, you never really know. Probably on the err on the side of caution with him. Tavian Wicks didn't even play last week. O-line, I'm expecting one of these guys to be out. Hopefully they're not, though. Who knows? Defensively, Devontae Wyatt should be good to go. Lucas Vanessa, I have no idea. Nick Neiman, same thing. Quay Walker should play. Rest of this defense obviously is healthy as well. Brandon McManus, kicker. Dana Willman's the punter. For how good I think this game is, I'm going to put it in decent. I think this is definitely a game that could be competitive, but there's definitely a shot it turns into an absolute arse-whooping, too. So just be ready for that. As you can see, no one thinks the Panthers are going to win. I don't think they're going to win, but who really knows? I want to say Bryce Young, this is a game where he can show that he's actually worth the number 1 pick. We're now in year, three with him, and he still really hasn't been, again, outside of that back half stretch of the 2020 season where he played bad defenses, hasn't really done much for me yet. So this would be one of those games where he really steps up. Do I think that's going to happen? Absolutely not. Packers are going to win this one big time, 31-16. That being a generous 16 points for the Panthers. Probably some garbage time ones with those. Probably won't score a touchdown until late. That's all I got for you guys here. And now let's get to another game that All right, first national game we will be discussing today is a game that is not looking awesome, as the Vikings will be heading to Detroit, again, in front of the whole country, as they come in at 3-4 after their mini bye week. And again, the big news is not good news. They lost Carson Wentz for the year, again, as he was playing on a torn shoulder the past 3 weeks. As a result, they have to bring in Jaden McCarthy, who, again, I don't think they want to have to play, but it's a sink or swim. Not really sink. It's a sink or don't die situation for him. So that's really what you got going on for him. And the Vikings, again, they're not looking too hot right now, as they again lost last week. Even though they've lost, what is it now, 2 straight? My bad, off the bye. Neither one of those games has been their greatest performances offensively. They've struggled in the end zone, only 2 touchdowns the past 2 games. For the Lions, though, they come in at 5-2. Again, they're off their bye week. They're looking pretty fresh after getting a tough loss in KC in Week 6. They had a big time defensive performance against the Bucks on Monday Night Football before going to their bye week, where they found again they're trying to adjust some things. As again, an offense coordinator actually making accountability for the first time ever, as, again, the Lions OC was talking about how he needs to do better by Jameson Williams, which isn't a bad idea, but, I mean, there's definitely better ones, I'll tell you that. But anyway, yeah, Lions are looking pretty fun for this game. But at the same time, they don't want to be messing around either. Vikings, last year when they came to Detroit, it was not good. I think so, right? I don't remember. No, yeah, they got blown out. That was like right when they started to crash out. 31-9. Those are actually 2 of their only 3 losses in the regular season. Again, they got swept by the Lions. First game was really good, again, in Week 7, but they got swept by the Lions last year, and they also lost to the Rams twice. So, again, realistically, they literally only lost 4 games to 2 teams last year, which is pretty crazy. Again, this obviously being one of them. This game will be at 1 o'clock on Fox in front of the whole country, as well as on Fox 1. And again, is the NFL on Fox featured game this week. Looking at the standings for both these teams, they're obviously in the same division. Lions are, again, looking ahead of the Vikings by a pretty decent bit at 2 games. As well, looking at the map, you can see it's in red. Again, a very, very big amount of the country will be in this game. Kevin Burkhardt, Tom Brady, Tom Rinaldi, and Aaron Rodgers. Again, if you're a top team, I probably remember your things. And obviously, Alaska's going to be getting this game for whatever random reason. Vikings starting lineup. Jaden McCarthy is going to be starting. Max Brosman will be in by the end of the first quarter. Jordan Mason's an absolute bum. I'm pissed I had to play him last week. I'll probably have to play him this week as well. Aaron Jones is back there, but he's old and he sucks. Other than that, though, I don't know. Their backup tight end, Josh Oliver, will not be playing. CJ Ham's questionable. Both tackles are questionable. They've been questionable for like 3 weeks, so I don't really know what to tell you guys there. And obviously, their receivers are completely healthy, outside of Ronald Moore, who's not played in a while. Hopefully, he is recovering perfectly fine. Defensively, Isaiah Rodgers, Jeff Okudah are both questionable, and then, that's what they got going on there. For the Lions, though, I don't really know what's going on with them. We got any injuries? Miles Frazier, that kind of sucks. No, I don't even know who that guy is, to be completely honest with you guys. Craig Reynolds, Sione Vaki, who I don't know, Craig Reynolds maybe gets like 10 carries a season. He's questionable. Defensively, yeah, they're a little injured. Kirby Joseph's questionable as well as Avonte Maddox in the secondary, but other than that, their true starters are all healthy. Arthur Millett has been a good slot. He really, honestly, outside of what was it, 2021 maybe with the Ravens, hasn't really been that good. But I mean, that's what they got going on there. Jake Bates, Jack Fox, kicker and punter, and then now we look at again how good I think this game is. It's obviously a freaking snooze fest. This game's gonna suck. I mean, unless you're a Vikings fan, you are still all in on Jaden McCarthy. This game is going to be rough. For actually how this game is going to go, yeah, I don't know why this game is betted on more. This game's way worse. Lions win this one. I'm going to put up 50 for sure. 54-13. That's your, no, that, yeah, 54-13 final in this one. Now let's get to our, finally, like a real wagon of a game. And the last game of the early window is an absolute banger as part of CBS's doubleheader. The first part of it, this is by far the best doubleheader we've had all year and probably will be for the rest of the year. No, I think we got another better one, but we'll get there when we get there. As the best team in football, again, in terms of record, we have the Colts at 7-1, riding a 4-game winning streak here into Pittsburgh. Again, against a 4-3 team that ain't looking too hot. But for the Colts, obviously an insane start to the season. No one even in there, I don't even know. You could have been on coke, and you could have been the most delusional Colts fan. You still wouldn't have had them at this record. As Indiana Jones, MVP favorite. I think something like that. He might be the MVP favorite. I don't know. But JT, who is setting a bunch of records. I mean, he just, again, took care of the Colts last week. Not Colts, Titans last week. Again, they're just absolutely going crazy right now. And their defense is also very underrated. But at the same time, this Colts team, outside of the Rams, haven't really proven themselves to be a very, very good team. I think there was another game that I'm just completely forgetting about and being a casual on, but let's just not worry about that. Anyway, though, the Colts, they're a wagon. Steelers, are they a legitimate opponent? I don't know. The Colts are on the road for this game. We can say they are. The Steelers are at 4-3. They have been a pretty inconsistent team this year as they looked really solid going to their bye week at, 4-1? No, 3-1. Then after the bye, they took care of business against the Browns. The past 2 weeks, their defense has struggled as they get 33 points to Joe Flacco, and then they proceeded to give up a lot of yardage and a lot of points to the Tucker Kraft, Jordan Love, and that Packers offense in the fourth quarter, as they ended up losing that game by double digits despite being in control of it going into the fourth quarter. Offensively, they stalled a lot. They needed Chris Boswell to be the man to even be close in that game, which you hopefully don't have to do every single week. I mean, you want that sometimes. Like, Jets game, again, when we look at that, I was pretty concerned that it was that close, but that's a game where you want him to be the man. So, I don't know, maybe we'll see something here with that. But, yeah. Steelers, they're going to need to show something here if they don't want to really get things out of hand. But they'll still be leading the division after this week anyway, which is so pathetic. Anyway, though, Colts have not been here since 2019, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a minute. That was a really good game. The Steelers, I think it was their first game with Minka. Oh, he's gone now. They won that one 26-24. That was, again, like a really good game now looking back at that. They played a couple times past couple years. Those aren't really that much relevant. But, yeah, Daniel Jones has not played the Steelers in a minute either. But this game will be at 1 o'clock on CBS. NFL Plus and Paramount Plus are the ways you guys can stream this game. Wait, I think so. Wait. When are the Giants last play the Steelers? Oh, they played last year here. Yeah, Daniel Jones played here last year in Week 8 on Monday Night Football. Steelers won that one 26-18 because Daniel Jones fumbled the ball out of his butt. I don't want to get too, vulgar there. But anyway, 53 degrees, light rain. It's not the greatest weather. Typical Pittsburgh, I guess is what we want to say there. Both these teams are leading their divisions, though. That's important to mention. So, as of right now, this is the 1v4 matchup if we're talking about playoff picture, which is ridiculous because it's only week 9. A lot of things can happen before the actual playoffs start. But anyway, we're gonna get off that. There we go. Our if we look at this, who's our again national game? It's right here. I know JJ Watt, Evan Washburn again will be CBS's top team for this game. So as you can see, a hell of a lot of the country's getting this game. Move back here because we'll be back here in a little bit. For the Colts, though, starting lineup-wise, I don't know. Andy Gold's questionable. They're completely healthy. That's why they're so good. Defensively, Grover Stewart and Samson Ebukam, both crucial players, are both questionable. I'm going to wait for my PC to calm down because I do want to look at Samson Ebukam. Or not. I guess we can just not. But Kenny Moore's there. Jonathan Edwards, again, great name, but I kind of forgot he was a starter. And then Anthony Gold's also questionable. Samson Ebukam, don't crash out. 2 sacks. All right, bam. It's just going to kick up. But anyway. Yeah, it gets loud. But anyway, that's all I got there for the Colts because they're healthy. Like, what else do you want me to tell you guys? Please don't explode. Thank you. All right. Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback for the Steelers. Scotty Miller's questionable. Isaac Salamalu, Zach Frazier, both questionable. Again, center and guard. They're very, very crucial to this team, even having some semblance of a running game. Joe Warren, Kenneth Gainwell both going to be having to have a better game than they had last week. Cole Holcomb's questionable. Linebacker. Deshaun Elliott's out. Jawan Thornhill. Again, I love mispronouncing his name. He'll probably be starting to free safety. Maybe Chuck Clark. Who knows? Chris Boswell, Corliss Wayman. Anyway, they also traded for Kyle Duggar, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Keon White. I don't know where Keon White. Where's Keon White at? Keon White. What team did they trade him to? The Niners? Yeah, to the Niners. That's who it was to. I don't know what it was for, but it wasn't. Yeah, to the Niners. Okay, that's what I thought. But that is really all I have on them. There we go. Okay, who's announcing? Not who's announcing this game. This is obviously, again, this is one of the best 2 games of the week. I think it's got to be a must-watch, right? It's going to be a good game. We know that. And the fact that there really isn't any other games I can put here, I'm just going to put that right there, and we're just going to move on. Even though, realistically, does it go here? Probably. But it's got to be a game of the week, right? Again, what else do we have? For the who wins this game, though, I'm going to be honest, guys. I think the Steelers can pull off the upset. Again, it's not that big of an upset considering, again, the Colts. Again, we still aren't. I mean, some people aren't completely in on them. But, again, you have to be. So, I'm going to say this is going to be one of the better games of the entire season. I don't see it being, like, some all-time game or anything like that. I really think this is going to be one of those, like, just, like, what a game. And I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers shows 5 touchdowns and the Steelers win this one 38-35 in OT. That is my prediction. It's just going to be a hell of a game. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think it'll be, like, some insane, but it's going to be something you're going to remember. That's all I'm going to say. That's what I got there. Now let's get into our later window. The first of those windows will be the Fox late afternoon regional window, which again is the first of the 2 games in this window. We have the Jags and Raiders. Better the two matchups, I'll give you that too. As the Jags coming off their bye week, looking to bounce back against another team going off their bye week in the Raiders. The Jags and Raiders have not been playing their best football the past couple weeks. Specifically for the Jaguars, they have lost back-to-back games, both not really in that competitive fashion as they struggle to score against Seahawks, and they really struggle to score against the Rams in London in Week 7 as they got their absolute butts whooped in that one, and then they come back again to their confines of Everbank Stadium after they're not there. Well, they did go back there, and then they came over here again over their bye to try to fix those offensive woes as well as the defensive struggles in the red zone. But anyway, their defense really hasn't been too bad at all. They've actually been pretty good this year overall. But again, coming off that game against the Rams, they definitely want to change some things. For the Raiders, on the other hand, outside that win against the Titans, they haven't won a game since Week 1, which was like early September. So it has not been looking good for the Raiders. Again, before their bye week, they're coming out to one of the worst performances I've ever seen out of an NFL team. Is they didn't even muster up 100 yards or something like that against the Chiefs. As they lost 31-0. That was really bad. Gino got benched. It was a rough scene, but at least they're coming off their bye looking a little bit better. This is definitely a game that they again have an opportunity to play well in. But again, will they? I don't know about that. But again, the Jags haven't been here. Oh, they were here last year, and they ruined the Raiders' shot, the number 1 pick, as Raiders coming in at 2-12. Jags, if I'm not mistaken, came in at like 4-10, and then 3-11, and then the Raiders won. So yeah, but this game will be at 4:05 on Fox. Fox 1. NFL Plus probably the ways you guys can stream this. But anyway, again, like I said, maybe the Raiders enact some sort of revenge to win this game. But anyway, look at the divisions. The Jags are still, I guess, in the race for the division. Again, maybe they are because they have that home game in hand versus the Colts. Again, as history does show. But other than that, where are we on the Raiders? Yeah, they suck. We'll get to that in a minute. But announced in this game will be Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and whoever, I don't know who's announcing this game. Maybe it's Jen Hill. I don't think it is. But it's going to be in orange and, really, really just random parts of the country, to be honest with you guys. But for the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, quarterback, Travis Etienne Jr., Bashal Tudor on the backfield, as well as LaQuinton Allen, who we haven't seen this year. Brian Travis Hunter, both questionable. Tim Patrick is also questionable. Parker Washington and Diamond Browns are also there. Other than that, though, they're basically healthy on offense. Defensively, Devin Lloyd, Dennis Gardeck are both questionable. Eric Murray and Jordan Lewis, all those guys have some sort of role in coverage. But again, they all might not or may or may not play. Just got to mention that. Cam Little, Logan Kicker, and punter. For the Raiders, though, looking over at them, offensively, they're completely healthy. There's really nothing else to say. They really don't have any excuse other than maybe, I don't know, they suck. Oh, they did lose Colton Miller over the bye, if I'm not mistaken. So, Stone Forsythe, who I thought was a center. Yeah, it's weird. It's weird with this Raiders team. Defensively, I don't even know. Max Crosby, he should get traded. Again, he's like 32. Adam Butler's also questionable. Isaiah Paul out. He's definitely not had the greatest season with injuries. Daniel Carlson and AJ Cole are also there. For this game, guys, honestly, I got to put it in just boring. I mean, this game's just not good. It's not the worst game on the slate, but, like, just not very good. For who wins this one, I really don't even care, to be honest with you guys. I'm going to say Jags bounce back, but again, it's like whatever. 22-13. There's your final score. That's all I got for you guys here. Now let's get to the least competitive game of the week. All right, guys. preseason, I said, again, about this game, I said I'd have a hard time seeing the Rams losing a game like this. And again, I'm like, if there's one game the Rams are, again, like that they're set up to win, it's this one, because you're coming off your bye week. I understand they just played in London, but you're coming off your bye week and you're playing the Saints at home. That's like three things right there that you really aren't going to get like against any team. And the fact you're getting against the Saints, like, yeah, that's what I thought. This is just, again, it's a game that, again, if they lose, it would be worse than the Jets in 2020, which a lot of people kind of forget, which, again, kind of tells you the Rams aren't really that relevant, I guess. But no, I'm joking. The Saints, yeah, they've had a rough season. I mean, they had that one nice one against the Giants, I guess. But again, they just benched Spencer Rattler, their starting quarterback. Again, now Tyler Shuck, who's like 30, he'll start this game. Guys, the Saints are absolutely atrocious. This is the worst team they've had since 1999. I don't know what else to tell you guys. They're absolutely awful. But their defense last week didn't play too bad, so I mean, I guess that's the silver lining. Rams, on the other hand, I mean, they've been a wagon most of this season. Again, a lot of people still aren't really buying into them, which for whatever reason I don't understand. No. For whatever reason, I don't understand why that's the case. But still, this is a game the Rams are going to need to win. Their toughest stretch of the season, next 3 weeks, is coming up. They need to, I want to get right, but they got to get dialed in. Again, this is the game to do it. But again, this game will be at 4:05 on Fox. Fox 1, NFL Plus, the ways you guys can stream this game. But the Saints have not been to LA, if I'm not mistaken, in 6 years, or 6 or 7, something like that. And in that game, the Rams beat them 27-9. That was a rematch of that no-call game. That's actually how long ago it's been. They played the past couple years, though, in New Orleans. So that's good to mention. But other than that, what else do we got? Again, standings-wise, I don't know. The Rams are they're not a top division. Right? Yeah, the Seahawks technically are because they have the division win. The Rams do not. Other than that, though, I don't even know what's going on. Freaking, the Saints are not looking hot. And then, yeah, that's really about it. Oh, yeah, announcing this game will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Milman. I don't even know who's the other person. Yeah, whatever. Yellow, again, not a ton of the country's getting this game. For the Saints, their starting lineup, Alvin Kamara is questionable as well as Devin Neal. Again, Devin Neal, did he even play last week? I don't even remember. Rashid Shaheed's questionable. He might get traded. Who really knows with that? Jawan Johnson, Foster Moore at tight end. Again, like I said, Tyler Shook is starting. Defensively, Alon Taylor's the only questionable guy, but other than that, they're ready to go. I would really like to see Brian Breezy again against his offensive line. For the Rams, though, I haven't really checked their lineup in a minute. Offensively, Rob Havenstein's still questionable. Tutu was put on IR over the bye week. Again, someone's going to have to step up as their deep threat. But other than that, they're pretty much good to go. Defensively, Darius Williams, Cam Kitchen are both questionable. They just traded for Roger McCreary to hopefully be their starting slot corner, even though they do have Quentin Lake. This is a team that has not too many weaknesses right now, though. That's what I'll say. Josh McCarty, Ethan Evans, kicker, and putter. And for this game, I am going to put it right in boring. I mean, again, I don't know. If this game's close, it'll be like crazy entertaining. But realistically, that's not going to really happen. And as you can see by this bet line, minus 1,600 and 99% of the people picking this game, I think we're going to say it's going to be that. I'm not going to pick some all-time blowout because the Rams really don't do that very often. I'm going to say the Rams win this one, I don't know what I'm going to say, 29-16. It's going to be a score. It's not going to be pretty. Rams will figure it out, though. Guys, this is the 10th time these guys have played. Yeah, overall. Mahomes is 4-0 in the regular season. Josh Allen's 4-1 in the regular season. If it wasn't for the first time they met here, he would be undefeated in the regular season as well. This is a monster game, as you all know. I don't want to talk about too much about these teams' histories. Again, I hope you guys know it's definitely the most documented over the past couple of years. Past like 5 years now. Quickly turning into the biggest rivalry in football. Not really because Mahomes dominates it. But this is a big game for both these teams. They both are in their endeavors actually not leading their divisions at this point in the season, which is pretty rare by their standards, especially for the Bills because they really don't have any competition. I mean, they had the 1 year with the Dolphins where they were pretty good. Well, technically 2 years, but you get the point there. Chiefs are 5-3 though. They've won 5 of 6 games. They're looking very, very good. Last week wasn't their greatest performance against the Commanders, but again, big offensive second half. They figured it out. Got the W there. Again, coming here on a short week to face off against the Bills squad that again looked really shaky before their bye week. As they dropped back-to-back games, both to the Patriots and Falcons, where their offense really didn't do a ton. But last week, they ran the ball down the Panthers' throat, got a big-time blowout win. But honestly, it really wasn't as, influential as some people might have thought. But this is a huge game for them as they look to get even with their not even with, but past the Patriots in the division in some way. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyway, other than that, I mean, guys, the weather for this game, you see 51 degrees, 2 mile per hour winds, 4 o'clock. Again, this is when it's going to start, 4:25 exact. CBS, NFL Plus, Paramount Plus. It is CBS's second game of their doubleheader. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, Tracy Wolfson will be calling this game. Again, it's the biggest game of the week. There's really not much else to it. In terms of inactives, Isaiah Pacheco should be good to go. Josh Simmons is still, again, definitely big up in the air there. Trey Smith, also questionable. Other than that, though, their defense is they're relatively healthy. They've been playing a lot better. Again, Brian Cook, Shamar Connor have been definitely been big step up guys for them. For the Bills, though, they definitely have some issues here. Joshua Palmer's questionable. Other than that, on this offense, they're pretty much going to go. I need to see this offensive line absolutely dominate if they're going to really, again, be able to establish this run game early. Defensively, though, Ed Oliver had a really bad injury. He honestly has really been the only guy on the C-line that has been anything like of a difference maker. Greg Rousseau has not had the greatest start to the year. Despite, not really great to start. A.J. Epinesa has been good with pressure, but not really good against the run. Joey Bosa, Daquan Jones is really just a run stuffer. Larry Jogo, the 10 guys back from his thing. But Jalen Walker's really the only hope on the interior to get any pressure. Their linebackers have been okay, not great. And then again, their secondary overall has been a little bit of an issue. Maxwell Harrison probably will get a nod and start over Tre'Davious White, if I had to guess. We'll see, though. Matt Prater's questionable. Mitch Wisnowski is also there. Is there any update on Tyler Bass's injury? Okay, whatever. We really don't know what's going on there. For this game, though, obviously it's going in game of the week. I'm not going to be a brick. This is this doubleheader right here. It's about as good as it gets. So I'm not going to really try to talk too deep into that anyway. Again, try to make this a little bit shorter for y'all. Who do I see winning this game? I'm going to say the Chiefs. I guess it's an upset. It's not really an upset. Chiefs get the road win. Mahomes' only second win in the regular season against the Bills, 27-20. I'm going to say it's going to be a good game. I don't think it'll be as, again, eventful as maybe some of these other matchups. But overall, I don't see it going like it did last year in Buffalo, where, again, the Chiefs kind of got overwhelmed. Ended up losing that game technically by 2 scores. The Bills got a huge win over the undefeated Chiefs in that one. But that's all I got for you guys here. Now let's get to our Sunday Nighter, which I'm telling you right now is not as good as you would have liked. In the last game, again, wrapping up these again Sunday predictions, we do have the Seahawks and Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Seahawks are off their bye week. They're looking very, very solid as they won back-to-back games. First AFC South opponents with pretty solid defenses. First against the Jags in Week 6, as again a JSN long touchdown really accelerated them to that win, as well as an A.J. Barner huge third down conversion. But after that, they again had the Texans on Monday night. Again, 2 weeks ago now, and their defense shut down that Texans offense, and as well, despite, again, having 4 turnovers, they were able to overcome that with a pretty solid red zone presence, and they were able to win that game, moving to 5-2. They're technically still atop the division here in the NFC West, but, I mean, there's, again, a lot more still on the table for this team, especially in a game they should be able to beat against Commander squad that is super banged up, as I think they'll be without Marcus Mariota. Oh, my bad. Jaden Daniels, again, as Marcus Mariota will still be starting. I think the Commanders have been at their bye week next week. I may be wrong in that. But the Commanders are coming this one losing 3 straight. They're definitely reeling right now. They've had a really rough past couple of games. Again, they had a close one, and then the past 2 games they've kind of gotten blown out against both the Cowboys and Chiefs. But defensively, if they're going to need to do anything, they're going to have to be a lot better than they were in the second half last week, despite having a very, very nice first half. Also, their turnovers were a little bit brutal as well. But Seattle has not been here since 2021. In that game, the Commanders upset them 17-15, which is actually a weird game now I think about it. But other than that, Seattle doesn't really play her very often. This game will be at 8:20 on NBC, Universo, Peacock, NBC Sports App, NFL Plus, you name it. It'll probably be on it. But that's all I got for you guys there. For the announcers, it's Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, and what's her name? Melissa Stark, my bad. Other than that, though, what do we got? Commanders, they're 3-5. Yeah, they're reeling in their division. 54 degrees, a little bit of wind. It's partly cloudy. You're going to see worse weather. Seahawks starting lineup. Cooper Kupp's questionable as well as Jake Bobo and De'Aaron Young. Again, they run heavy personnel a lot, so we'll see. JSN, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet in the backfield. A.J. Barner, like I said, is a tight end, as well as Elijah Arroyo. Eric Sauber got out there a little bit not last week, 2 weeks ago. He's questionable. Brady Russell's their fullback. The rest of the offensive line is healthy. Defensively, though, Jeremy Reed's questionable. And again, Julian Lovell's questionable. He's been really questionable every week. They're at free safety. And then the rest of this defense is pretty much healthy. Jason Myers, Michael Dixon, kicker and punter. And then for the Commanders now, their lineup, Terry McLaurin's going to be out for this game. JCM, Jeremy McNichols in the backfield. Jaden Daniels, my bad. He's back and healthy. What am I talking about? I kind of forgot that happened. I thought he was out. Okay. Is there any news on that? No, this is just a bunch of crap. Okay. He's only on 1 pick this year. I kind of forgot about that. Larry Thompson's questionable at tackle, but then I guess they're healthy. Defensively, Javon Kinlaw is questionable as well as Jerzon Newton. That does change this game a little bit. Matt Gay is questionable as well as Tressway. So overall, we know this is a must-win for the Commanders. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. This game for me, again, that makes it a heck of a lot more interesting. I guess we know what the Monday night matchup is now, though. As you guys can see, I think this is an entertaining game. I don't know if you know what? It's really important for the Commanders. They got to put this in must-watch. Again, they're not healthy. But I think, again, if they put together a good enough game, I think this is definitely one that they can, again, make pretty good. Seahawks, though, it's like, again, if they lose, it's not the end of the world, but they definitely want to stay at top of the division. So that makes it a lot more interesting. Honestly, guys, I'm going to go with the Commanders in this one. Pull off the upset. Huge time win here. I'm going to say they win this one 20-17. Big time win for them here on Sunday Night Football. Not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, got to look at it before you can judge it, I guess. That's all I got for you guys here. Hope you guys enjoy all these games. And, yeah, happy Halloween and all that. And see y'all for the recap of these things tomorrow. No. Monday. There we go. Monday. There we go. Election day is Tuesday, so sometime before then.
Those eyes, you can see it. Perfect. From the 19, so from every angle, these two guys come at you, and they both run pretty well, too. Play action. Allen, backing up, throwing deep downfield, and reaching, making the grab again is the tight end, Dawson Knox, and what a weapon he has become. That's 41 yards, his third catch for 117 yards tonight. First ball.